Ask anybody who knows me and they'll tell you my favorite game of all time is Super Mario World. For my money, it's the pinnacle of 16-bit platforming. Certainly the absolute best on the Super Nintendo, which is saying a lot because it was a launch title for the system. A lot of really good things came out after, but you know what? I'll stick with Super Mario World no matter what. Sorry, Donkey Kong. You're great too. But Yoshi though. But I have to say this, okay? Objectively speaking, Super Mario Bros. 3 is a better game. I know it hurts me to say it. It hurts me more than it hurts you. But it's true. And I'll tell you why. I loved that game so much as a kid that I had a little tradition. I would beat the game, and I would do that at least once a month. And after it teleported me back to Yoshi Island, the very first world in the game, I would walk all the way back to Bowser's sunken ghost ship. Just because it felt like such an epic journey to be walking around the world map. By the way, that takes 1 minute and 20 seconds. Back when I was a kid, that felt longer. Hell, every single one of my portables, and I have quite a few of them, are essentially Super Mario World machines. It's kind of it's a bit of a tradition. Every time I get a new gadget that can run emulators, I'll run Super Mario World on them. It's almost like my test to see if this worked. My dad had a similar ritual. Every time we moved and he'd set up the home theater back again with all the speakers and all that shit, he would run the pod racing scene from episode 1, The Phantom Menace. That's kind of like his thing. I have my own version of this is setting up a new thing, like a new portable emulation machine or what have you. I have to run Super Mario World on it. Hell, I bought Super Mario Maker for my 3DS because it's basically an unofficial sequel to Super Mario World. There's so many levels made in with the layout and the visual scheme of Super Mario World. That's no exaggeration, that's the only reason I bought that game. Just to play it as though it was some kind of sequel that never actually existed for the game. I mean, I know there's a sequel for it, Yoshi Island. Phenomenal game. It's not really Super Mario World 2. Let's be completely honest. It's not. Objectively speaking, Super Mario Bros. 3 is a better game, and I'll tell you why. First of all, the levels are more varied. Maybe because I played Super Mario World way too much, and I mean, I still love it, don't get me wrong, I beat that thing at least once a month, but the levels just feel really samey. There's something about Super Mario Bros. 3 that makes it's so different to me. The first time I was playing that game, and I got to the world where the enemies are huge, you remember that one? That was such I wasn't expecting that, so that was awesome. And these kinds of surprises are not there in Super Mario World. The biggest problem for me in Super Mario World is the fact that the items are way too unbalanced. Namely, there's no reason to not use the feather every opportunity you have. It kills pretty much every enemy with one strike. You can fly throughout an entire level without ever hitting the ground. Way too many levels allowed you to do that. They should have employed some smarter level design so that people wouldn't just do that. I did it a lot. The Tanuki suits, and yes, I know I'm pronouncing it wrong probably, limited flight capabilities made the game a little bit more challenging. That's the other thing. Super Mario World was kind of easy. Even the range. Now, I haven't looked that deep into this, but I suspect that if I were to, we would find that the range of the cape was significantly longer than the range of the Tanuki tail, which meant you could kill opponents from a little bit farther away, which gave you more safety. Hell, in Super Mario World, you could basically walk around spinning that shit and killing everything in your path. And it wasn't that easy to do that in Super Mario Bros. 3. It was overall a more challenging game. Aside from the water levels, and maybe not even then, there was no reason whatsoever to use the Fire Flower once you got to Donut Plains, the second world in Super Mario World. The moment you got that Super Cape, there's no reason to get the flower ever again. Getting the flower accidentally when I was Super Mario with the cape and everything would straight up piss me off. And more importantly, the bonus levels. The bonus levels in Super Mario Bros. 3, I don't know why I paused it there. The bonus levels in Super Mario Bros. 3 made a lot more sense because you got actual useful shit. The bonus levels in World were boring because all you could get is lives, and the game was easy enough already, plus it was super easy to get a bunch of lives in Super Mario World. So the bonuses were, they just pissed me off. Sometimes I'd just jump right through it to get out of it. Super Mario Bros. 3, on the other hand, would reward you with items that were actually useful, that would go into a little item reserve box. And you know what? It's weird because today, even with save states, I still don't use those items willy-nilly. I hoard that shit. When you got an item in a bonus level in Super Mario Bros. 3, there was excitement. It's like, oh, I'm gonna save that P-Wing. I'm gonna save that until I really need to use it, or the Tanuki suit, or the frog suit, or whatever it was. It added so much more diversity to gameplay. Again, in Super Mario World, all the bonuses give you is lives. It's boring. Of course, when I was talking on Twitter about this the other day, some of my friends disagreed. Let's hear from them.
First of all, Izzy, thank you for having me on. This is a subject that is near and dear to my heart because Super Mario World was the first game I ever owned. Got it for Christmas in 1992, and some of my favorite memories of my father and I are playing that game when I was a kid. He taught me how to use the yellow cape and fly, and that was probably the first, last, and only time my dad was ever better at me in video games. It was one of the first games I ever did a full Let's Play of here on YouTube. That notwithstanding, from an objective standpoint, I think Mario World has to get the very slight edge. They're both incredible games, and Mario World improved upon so many of the things that Bros 3 established. The overworld map, all of the diverse enemies, the boss battles, the castles. Some of the big things that Mario World introduced that did not exist in the NES game are the secret exits, which add so much more replay value to Mario World. You get to go back and replay levels to look for that secret separate exit. Ghost houses were a whole new thing that added a lot of extra challenges and really cool bad guys. And I think just because you had more memory and more bits to play with, the music in World is also superior. And ultimately, I love the entire Star World and Special Zone area of the game that gives us some of the most challenging and unique courses in the 2D platforming Mario franchise, which also rewarded players who managed to beat it by reskinning the entire world and some of the enemies, which was really cool. After you beat the game, you can go back and play it again with a new look. And last but not least is Yoshi, Mario's dinosaur sidekick, which added so many more gameplay elements to an already excellent title and became one of the best characters in the Mario franchise, besides all of his, human counterparts. Nostalgia notwithstanding, I say World is the better title, and I think your audience will agree with me. But if for whatever reason you don't, you can voice your complaint in person at my channel, youtube.com/JogWheel. I do tech videos, movie reviews, and some old microwave experimentation stuff, so feel free to check it out. Izzy, thanks again for having me on, and I look forward to hearing your argument.
So, Izzy, my favorite Mario game is the original, but Mario Maker, believe it or not, is slowly creeping up on that. However, my favorite and the best are two different things. I think the best might be Super Mario World. Now, I'm a guy who grew up with an NES, and then I went to Sega Genesis, so I didn't even have a Super Nintendo. So I grew up on the original Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. 3, and Sonic the Hedgehog. So this isn't some nostalgia-fueled rant. I genuinely think that Super Mario World is the better game, but only slightly. I think what sets it apart are the physics, that jumping arc. You got that spin jump that lets you jump over spikes and stuff. The cape isn't as good as the Tanuki suit, but, you got Yoshi. That more than makes up for it. Super Mario Bros. 3 also gets insanely difficult towards the end, and Super Mario World does not. Super Mario Bros. 3 is maybe more fun to play repeatedly to revisit it, because it's easy to get those warp whistles and then just go right to the end. But I think if you haven't played any of these games, if you're new to Mario and you just want to jump in and play one Mario game, Mario World should be that game. And this isn't a studied, comparison between Mario 3 and Mario World. I'm just a guy who was like, hey, Mario 3 was pretty good, but Mario World is maybe, maybe people like that a little more. You know it's a better game than all these?
So yeah, obviously Jon and Bob think I'm wrong. I'll give them that. Their points make a lot of sense. I do love Yoshi. It adds an interesting gameplay mechanic. Namely, you can kill Yoshi to save your own skin. But I don't know. I still, like I said, I love Super Mario World. That was my Mario game. I know for the younger people that might have been Super Mario 64. For older people than me, that must have definitely been Super Mario Brothers. But I still have to, in my opinion, Mario Bros. 3 offers more challenge and more diverse gameplay than World. World is prettier, and it's the game that I grew up playing. That's my Mario, but I'm not sure if it's the best. What do you think about this? Which one is better, World or Brothers 3? Let me know in the comments below. But that's all the time I have for today. I really want to thank Bob and Jon for coming on my channel to explain why they think I'm wrong. Like I don't get enough of that in the comments already. I'll leave the links to their channels down below. Make sure to check them out. Tell them I sent you, and that's it. I'll see you guys next time.